So one or two really good presents. Fantastic. Thank you, folks. Do you want to take them back to your seats again now? I'm going to keep the helicopter. Yes, I didn't know fighting over earlier anyway. So it's lovely to be able to receive presents. It's lovely to be able to give presents, particularly at this time of year. At the same time as never forgetting that the greatest of presents that we're reminded about Christmas after Christmas after Christmas, regardless of when he might actually have been born, is Jesus Christ himself. The greatest gift we possibly could have received. And because of that, I've got a wee story I just want to tell you that really links in very nicely with the Advent candles that we have here today. We've been building up week by week with the different candles and the different descriptions. Can anybody remind me, and remind us, what each of these candles represented in order? That's the extra challenge. First week of Advent, at the end of November, what was the first candle? Hope. Thank you very much. Our second candle in the second week, that was the week we had 2 little girls getting baptized. Peace. Our third candle, our Gaudete candle, our candle representing joy. Just take me outside and shoot me. I'll let you have a shot at the last one then. Our last candle last week, which we lit, representing love. Brilliant. Well done. And finally, last but not least, our white candle we've lit finally today. Do you remember its name? Christ candle. Very good indeed. So I have a little story about this to refer to you. There was a little boy, and he looked at all that was going on in the world, and he started to get just a little bit dismayed. I don't think it was just 2016 for him that had been a hard year, but nonetheless, he'd had quite a hard time of it. And as he looked out on the world and he started to think about things, he reflected on the candles that were there. And he looked at the first candle, the candle of hope. And as he looked at it and thought about what hope there might be for the world, he really did worry. When he cast his eye across all the news coming from the Middle East, and country after country after country seemed to be falling or in turmoil, and refugees passing from them, you know, slowly but surely his hope blew down to a very, very low ebb, barely smouldering as the flame seemed to just trickle away. And similarly, when he looked around those self-same areas, his whole concept of peace was disappearing fast too. And so for him, as he looked on the candle of peace, peace seemed to be very much in short supply. It seemed almost inevitable with his hope all but gone, the idea of peace, even as a concept, far less something deep inside him, to have vanished fast away, that all sense of joy in the world seemed to have disappeared fast. And the joy, too, started to disappear from his life. Little, it seemed, would make that recover. And then last but not least, for the moment at least, he looked on the candle of love and wondered where on earth the love had gone. Where was the love of neighbour as much as for self, far less the love of God in all that he was seeing around and about him? And so that candle of love seemed also to have flickered and faded, so that all that was left was the glowing embers of something that was perhaps a distant memory. At this point, the poor little boy, he just frankly broke down and cried. He looked at all that was going on in the world, and with his hope and his idea of peace and his joy and the idea of love all having just almost disappeared, he wondered what on earth there was left in the world. He found it very hard indeed. But then he heard a still, small voice whispering to him. And the voice cried out, "But all is not lost. The Christ is still here. And as long as you have the Christ light burning in your heart, even as we read in John chapter 1 there about Christ having brought light into the world. But as long as we have Christ still burning in our heart, even if that at times seems to be at a low, low ebb, if we have that at least, things can turn around. And from the Christ light, we can rekindle our love. We can rekindle our sense of joy. Once more, we can be at peace. And with Christ in our hearts, we can once more entertain some hope. At this time of year, all over the world, and even in our own country, in our own community, maybe in our own lives, with what we've experienced throughout this past year, maybe in recent days, maybe in far-off days, remembering that that light of Christ never goes out and can rekindle everything else within our lives, perhaps should give us an opportunity, a renewed opportunity, almost like the birth of a new child, a new beginning. It gives us a new opportunity to reflect on just how important it is to keep the Christ light burning within our hearts. I pray that all of us will do that today and will benefit from it, not just today, but continuing on in our lives also. Amen.